The final episode opens with Penelope struggling through a vast snowy landscape, her body worn out and aching. She hums softly to keep herself awake, fighting the creeping exhaustion. Each step feels heavier than the last, and as she teeters on the edge of fainting, she whispers words of encouragement to herself. Suddenly she has a vision of her mother calling out to her, her voice warm and familiar. Desperate, Penelope runs towards her, only to crash into a tree. Darkness consumes her as she loses consciousness. Penelope wakes up in a hospital bed, disoriented and weak. A social worker named Jen comes to her side and explains that 2 hikers found her unconscious, with no ID. They carried her to the hospital, where she's been in the ICU for 4 days, hovering dangerously close to death. Jen offers to help Penelope figure out her next steps, sensing that Penelope is lost in more ways than one. But Penelope, distant and guarded, only wants to settle her hospital bill and leave. Suspicious but concerned, Jen asks why she doesn't want anyone to know where she is, and requests her phone number, promising only to call in case of an emergency. And deterred, Penelope resumes her journey. Along the way, she encounters an elderly man chopping wood in the cold. She offers to help, and in return, the man, introducing himself as Eugene, invites her in for dinner. After a simple meal he prepares, Penelope does the dishes, and he kindly lets her sleep on the sofa and use the phone if needed. That night, Penelope heads to a nearby library. Logging into her blog, she finds recent messages from friends and family, each post pleading for someone to contact them if they find her. Her aunt Georgia writes about missing her, and her grandmother longs to hug her again. A woman named Elizabeth apologizes for not being there for Penelope and begs her to come home. Penelope scrolls through the posts until one catches her eye, a message from her friend Carol, posted 2 weeks ago. It features a picture of Penelope's parents, captioned with the words, "I'm still in shock." Beneath the post, friends of her parents leave heartfelt comments, sharing how much they miss them. Tears well up in Penelope's eyes as the reality sets in. Her parents are gone. Overwhelmed with grief and loss, Penelope stares at the screen, and the series ends with her in silent reflection.